to this 1997 running of the Tripleprint, and a really wonderful renewal. 9 runners, 2 miles, 5 furlongs to trip. Here's the list.
They won over £780,000 in winner place prize money. So to accentuate the positive on Simply Dashing, we've got Lorcan Wire at 9-4 favourite. The blinkered enigmatic Challenger de Look 13-2, Tony McCoy, the team on the roll. The local hero, Senor El Betrutti at 7-1, Graham Bradley. Trying again at 9-2, partnered by Richard Dunwoody, who has a good win-to-ride ratio on that horse. 20-1, Glen Chorley, a horse has won first time up for the last 2 years. And from the borders, Major Bell 7-1 with Charlie Swan. Cardi's won round Cheltenham at 20-1 today for Richard Johnson. Destin Destraval at 20-1, and that is the mount of Robert Thornton, who claims a 3. 6-1 chance, Fine Thine, ridden by Mick Fitzgerald, who puts up a pound overweight. That's the lineup for the Grade 3 Tripleprint Gold Cup.
Print Gold Cup coming up in under an hour's time. And before that, just a thought about Senor El Betrutti, because only in jump racing could you have a completely amateur operation like that now amongst our major sports. An amateur operation coming and winning a big, big race. Susan Nock trains near Stowe in the Wold, and this week Stephen Byrne went down to see her. Susan's gallops seem a world away from the bustling training centres like Lambourne. That hasn't stopped her winning big races, and who could forget a month ago when she readied stable star Senor El Betrutti to run for his life in the Murphys at Cheltenham. She's hoping to double up with the Tripleprint this afternoon, but surprisingly thinks the Senor might just need the race.
I wish in hindsight I'd had a run 2 weeks ago, but that would have been the Hennessy, which would have been a too big a race after the Murphys. So we've had 4 weeks off, and I think he's grown fatter. I think he's got even more laid back, which is why we sent him hunting on Wednesday to see whether we could rev him up a bit and tighten up the elastic bands. He was perfectly behaved. It was quite extraordinary. Normally he just is a little bit sort of keyed up about hounds and crowds and what have you, but on this particular day he arrived at the meet, he stood with the hounds, he stood with all little ponies and had his photograph taken, and he stayed out for a couple of hours. We only stayed out till 1 o'clock because it was incredibly muddy, and I was terrified he might lose a shoe and bruise a foot, so we brought him home rather earlier than he would have liked to have done, because he got in a frightful strop when it was time to come home and napped it all the way up the road.
It's a small yard here. What's his daily training routine?
I think much the same as everybody else's. We're all into this interval training in a way, but he has a few variations because he does go on quite long hacks, and he has his sort of hunting about once every 10 days or 2 weeks. And then maybe once every couple of weeks we also go to either David Nicholson's or Nigel Twiston-Davis and just give him a good blowout on their gallops. Their gallops are longer and they're probably a bit tougher than ours. And because we've so few horses here, ours have a very sheltered existence, so they almost need to go into the rough and tumble of a big yard occasionally just to see what it's all about.
Now, there weren't many people when you went to the Murphys that thought he could win the race. Did you?
I didn't think he could win it because I'd been brainwashed by the newspapers all week that Dublin Flower and Sparky Gale were going to walk away with it. But I knew he was absolutely on top form because he'd had 2 quick races beforehand and he'd improved each time. So really the Murphys came at just the right time for us, and he proved everybody wrong, including ourselves.
The ground on Saturday is probably likely to be a bit slower than it was when he won the Murphys. Would that worry you at all?
It would, I have to say, a little bit, because he is so much better on top of the ground. The other thing that probably worries me more is the fact he's going to have to carry a lot more weight. He only had to carry 10 stone in the Murphys. However, he seems in good form. I think he'll run a good race. I'm not sure that he's actually going to get near winning it this time.
Now, you're not a tipping service. Would you be offering him as a tip for the race if you were, or would you be saying punters beware?
I'd say punters beware.
Great story, isn't it? The Senor in the Tripleprint Gold Cup at 2:30, but now the double print
came into 2-1 at one time. Some bookmakers are now showing 5-2, the favourite Simply Dashing. The officers are in for Challenger de Look because Martin Pipe and Tony McCoy are on a roll. From 13-2 in 1 or 2 places it's now an 11-2 chance against Challenger de Look. 8-1 out Senor El Betrutti. Clearly that will be the horse the bookmakers hope for. That's the one who gave them a great result at Double Carpet, 33-1 in the Murphys, not being backed again today. The Grey Senor El Betrutti. Out to 9 to 2, trying again. 20 to 1, Bell's Life. 8 to 1, Major Bell. 20 to 1, the next two, Cardi and Destravel. And 6 to 1, Fine Time. But the only serious money so far has been the office money for this challenger to look. Now top price 11 to 2, and some bookmakers are showing 5 to 1 against it.
So not surprisingly, with a field of good horses, the crowd out from the various entertainment spots around the track to have a look at these, and the weights headed by Simply Dashing. John, they're all different types, but you immediately, this horse struck a chord with you.
Well, only because he reminds me very much of Observe, that Fred Winter trained to win this race. Very laid back, just wandering around here, having a little yawn to himself, and a lot to like about him. Very athletic, not completely robust. Certainly wouldn't be as heavy as some of the other horses in this race, but just something very nice about him. Challenger to looks in really good form with himself. He's been a winner of this race before. Senor El Betrutti, we just seen a preview of this horse out hunting, looked in great form. I must admit I didn't think that he was good enough to win a race of this description when he won the Murphys at the last meeting here, but he won, and he won nicely, and the fact that the ground's a little bit softer wouldn't put me off him too much. I think he was a much improved horse there, vastly different to when he ran first time up at Weatherby.
He's stocky and thick set, trying again, leggier type, but nonetheless no less a decent sort for that. He looks really well in himself too. 5th in the Hennessy, didn't last home there. That was an extended 3¼ miles. Today's conditions were playing nothing like such an emphasis on his stamina, and with just two races early last season, it's highly likely he needed that run at Newbury a couple of weeks ago.
Simply Dashing, steady on 9 to 4, trying again 9 to 2. Challenger Je Look, well, they took the 13 to 2 and brought it into 11 to 2, but it's now gone out again and steady on 6s. Fine Time also on 6 to 1. Major Bell and Senor El Betrutti on the drift from 7s to 8s, and Bell's Life and Cardi steady on 20 to 1. And Destin Destraval also there on 20 to 1.
So lovely shots of the horses swinging down the start. Can appreciate the vast expanse of ground here at Cheltenham. They've got no fewer than 3 courses, plus a cross-country course, I should say, on the inside of their 3 traditional steeplechase courses, and they use what they call today the new course. Basically, they're going around the outside of the track for much of the way. And we discussed, you saw 4 or 5 minutes ago, or we hope you saw those hardy walkers at the top of Cleve Hill looking down. And we're lucky, members of our team, John Oaksey, Bruff Scott, and of course John Frankham, have got riding experience to describe what it's like. And with the benefit of modern technology, a little virtual reality as they call it, John can take you through those last 5 fences, John, from the top of the hill. Yeah, just have a look from that picture, just over, well, look over to the grandstand over on your left. It's a long way. This is the 5th last, and you just begin to go downhill at this point, and you don't want to be too far off the pace here. And the other thing you've got to be very careful about if you're riding is to make sure that you're not, if you're in a bunch of horses, which we won't today, there are only 9 runners, but certainly at the festival, when you're in the position here coming down this hill, you've got to make sure you don't get stuck in behind horses that are going backwards. And if possible, you want to jump, well, you want to jump all the fences well, but you want to be jumping them freely so that you can just give your horse a little bit of a breather, get some air into his lungs. The race comes again off of that bend. You've got 2 more left to jump, and very seldom you see fallers in actual fact at these last 2 fences. That's just slightly on the collar. And just have a look from here, you jump this last, hopefully you don't want to be too far off the pace here, and it's a long slog up here. In the last 3 or 4 seasons the ground hasn't really been desperate, but it can certainly get that way. The ground's softer for this meeting than I've known it for quite a few years. It's a long pull up there. Now just have a look, see where the left-hand side of that grandstand is. That's where the finishing post is. It's so easy to get to this point in the race and begin giving everything. No horse gallops flat out from this point at the top of there and is going as fast when it reaches that winning post. Well, just that reminder. How important is that? Is it just superstition on the jockey's part? Does it help?
I think it probably helps. You know, some horses are like humans, some of them are thick as can be, so you take them down there, show them just where the first fence is. And the eye catcher for us, we like the look of Challenger to look. And the old grey, Senor El Betrutti, he was the one who took the old grey's eye on the way to the post.
Pre-Christmas activity being particularly light down in the betting ring, but there's suddenly a move for the favourite. 5-2, 9-4. They were rushing down the rails to take it. Now Bottle 2-1 against Simply Dashing. Everything else is drifting out against it. A few moments ago I was telling you I thought there would be a result here, that one of the outsiders would win, maybe Major Bell, Senor El Betrutti, all the 20-1 chances, but the late money has come in for this Simply Dashing, trying to become the 10th favourite in 30 runnings to win the Tripleprint. He is the only horse now seriously backed, the one loser for the book. Simply Dashing, Bottle 2-1.
Anxious moments for those concerned, of course, and the stable hands of grooms that involved with these horses. I mean, John was talking to me before racing started how distraught the Jenny Pittman and her team were to lose a really nice young horse, Mentmore Towers, yesterday, and the young lady who led it up, just inconsolable. They put hours, weeks, months into these horses, and I know Kim Johnson very well, who looks after Simply Dashing. She has looked after a horse for me before, dedicated as indeed all these staff are. Jonathan Lower's wife looks after Challenger du Lac. They're really good servants, these animals, trusting animals. Punters have put their trust in them from a racing point of view.
Well, they live with them on a day-to-day basis, and I thought it was a really nice idea. Robert Ogden bought a horse in Ireland, and he actually got the girl to come over and settle it in at Oliver Sherwood's. They're coming under starters' orders. Here's Graham.
For the Tripleprint Gold Cup, and they've got 17 fences to jump, and as they come down towards the first, up on the outside, Fine Time with the hoops, and the grey Senor El Betrutti share the early work. Trying Again is up there too, and they're all safely over the first. Challenger du Lac held up at the back, but always comes with a late dash. On the right of the picture, as we look at them now, the local hero, Senor El Betrutti, takes command with Graham Bradley, just the leader. In fact, he wasn't the leader there. It was Trying Again who led. With up on the outside, Major Bell, and the black and white Destin Destraval sit to the front four. Cardi Racing 5 and Simply Dashing in 6, and on the inside Bell's Life in 7. Then we have Fine Time steady back in the pack, and Challenger du Lac rush through the birch there at the third fence, and the 17 they take in this 2-mile 5 step for a £60,000 prize, the Tripleprint Gold Cup. And it's Senor El Betrutti that made much of the running when he won last time, and he has taken the lead now to Trying Again in second, those dark and light blue sleeves. With the diamond jacket, Major Bell sits third, and on the outside, Simply Dashing, the top weight, a winner of 13 of his 20 races, turns into the home straight for the first time, where they face this line of 4 fences in 4th place. Destin Destraval covered up, Cardi the inside, then Fine Time, and further on the inside, Bell's Life as they take the next. And again, Challenger du Lac rush through the top of it. Come down towards fence number 5, and it's Trying Again who's come up with Senor El Betrutti to share the pace. In 3rd place is Major Bell, and behind Major Bell, Bell's Life the inside of Destin Destraval, with Simply Dashing out wide in company with Fine Time. Cardi covered up, and Challenger du Lac still at the back of the pack. This will be the second last after the next circuit, and the grey Senor El Betrutti pricking his ears, really enjoying life, bowling along in front and doing a good job of making a sound pace here with Graham Bradley. Trying Again, Richard Dunwoody on the outside in 2nd place, and that one jumped particularly well. Richard Dunwoody, a 6 for 6 strike ratio with Trying Again. Sitting in 3rd place, the black and white jacket of Destin Destraval, with on the outside Major Bell, then Fine Time, Simply Dashing. Bell's Life the inner in company with Cardi, and although last, Challenger du Lac only about 10 lengths off the pace, probably less, as they swing left-handed and race down towards fence number 8, a plain fence this. And it's Senor El Betrutti Trying Again, Destin Destraval, and up on the outside Major Bell, the Borders Raider, touching down in 4th. Simply Dashing up on the outside, Lorcan Wire just asking him to go about his business. This is the water jump. Senor El Betrutti, that eye-catching grey with his ears pricked, comes to take it. He jumps it beautifully. Fine Thine is down the pack at this stage, and come down towards fence number 10 now. And the favourite, Simply Dashing, is on the outside of the pack, and he's in 4th place. But another phenomenal leap by Senor El Betrutti. Tony McCoy is getting a little bit closer now on Challenger to Look. He's passed a couple of horses, and he's tracking wide as they make the next, where Cardi made a bad mistake, and Richard Johnson a brilliant recovery to keep the partnership intact. Possibly a victory for Velcro. Senor El Betrutti still just has the edge. A Dope and Ditch there looms large, with Trying Again the outside, and an extravagant jump by the leader. That's the grey. Fills the eye as they go to the top of the hill. Fence number 13, 5 from home here. And Senor El Betrutti that has the edge to Trying Again, and up on the outside, getting closer now, is Major Bell. Then Simply Dashing. Is he the real article? They tighten up on that turn, and we get a good view of Challenger to Look getting closer now. He's in 4th place. They come to the top of the hill and race slightly downhill again now towards the 4th from home in the Tripleprint Gold Cup, with Senor El Betrutti from Major Bell, Simply Dashing, the classy top weight on the outside. Bell's Life getting closer. He's looking for room on Trying Again. Challenger to Look starts a run in. Destin Destraval is the only one that you can confidently say won't be winning. Any of the others could, with 3 to jump. Senor El Betrutti, Challenger to Look, Major Bell, Simply Dashing wide on the outside, and under pressure now Destin Destraval. Bell's Life is getting closer, the horse carrying his head a bit high, but as they make the final turn, the local hero Senor El Betrutti, he ran a personal best last time and is stretching the Triple Print field. Challenger to Look in 2nd, with Major Bell 3rd. Bell's Life has won first time up for the last 2 years. Difficult to see him winning now. Simply Dashing is back in 5th, but Senor El Betrutti has taken the 2nd last. Here's a 3-length lead over Challenger to Look in 2nd. Then Bell's Life coming to press for a place with Major Bell, but at the final fence is Senor El Betrutti. Spring-heeled and extravagant jump. This is one of the most progressive chasers this season. It's Senor El Betrutti coming to claim the Tripleprint Gold Cup under Graham Bradley, striding on confidently up towards the line. Challenger to Look in 2nd, with Bell's Life in 3rd, but Senor El Betrutti has done it again. Senor El Betrutti wins to Challenger to Look in 2nd, Bell's Life 3rd, Major Bell in 4th, then Fine Thine in front of Simply Dashing. Well clear of Destin Destraval, Trying Again failed, but last of all was Cardi, and so the outcome of this, the Tripleprint Gold Cup, it's gone to the front-running local hero Senor El Betrutti, the colours of Gerald Knockett. 9-1 Susan Nock trains, and Graham Bradley, another big race triumph here at Cheltenham, and his 22nd of the season. For this man, the most experienced of jockeys. Superb run from the front. You can't come without the horse, and he had a lot of help from this progressive 8-year-old Senor El Betrutti. 2nd horse home was number 2, Challenger to Look, Tony McCoy. Held him up at the back, made his run, but he couldn't close on this horse. 3rd was Bell's Life, who'll be winning again soon. A smile from ear to ear, and give him a cheer for the Senor.
There you go, 9-1 Senor El Betrutti, 6-1 Challenger to Look, Bell's Life 25-1, and Gray's obviously Graham Bradley's favourite colour, won the Hennessy on Sunny Bay, and a certain amount of justice. I feel sorry for Jamie Osborne. He probably would have been on this horse if he hadn't injured himself here on Space Trucker, but just don't forget that Graham Bradley's done an awful lot of the hard work in the early stages of this horse's career, and in many ways this was justice, given a tremendous ride and a wonderful team. We saw that when they won the Murphys here at the last meeting. Genuine love of this horse. We saw some great pictures of him out hunting earlier in the week. He's a real old favourite and a marvellous double.
Jamie Osborne, a happy man for Graham Bradley, put it that way.
Brilliant for Brad and for the Knocks. No wonder I won the Murphys on him the way he won today. I mean, this horse has just improved out of all recognition. He'd gone up in the handicap for his Murphys win, but if anything, he's much more convincing today, and it's been brilliant.
Coming to the last now, been a bit uneasy at the 2nd last, but this was good.
Yeah, I mean, Brad's seen the long shot from away out And as you can see, he's still got plenty of horse underneath him, and he's come on it. I mean, he is just the most lovely ride, and he's shown it again today. He's been very comfortable out there in front, nothing really taking him on. Brad's been able to quicken the pace and slow it as and when he wanted, and he's got away from them again coming down the hill. And Challenger Luck arrived on the bridle, but there was no way he was going to come past him because this horse has just found another gear.
She'd said beforehand, Susan Nock, she didn't think he was quite fit enough, but he's actually getting better.
He must be getting better. I mean, on this performance, she would have to be thinking in terms of King George's. He's already a winner over 3 miles. I won on him at Newbury over 3 miles last year. And I mean, this performance and the performance in the Murphys, I think, has got staying written all over it. I see he's not coming to the end of his tether here. And on this performance, you know, he's beaten, well, some very good horses today in completely convincing style, and it might just be worth him, if the ground stayed on the decent side, it might worth be him taking his chance at Kempton.
With me is Graham. Brad, what was that like, Brad?
That was absolutely incredible, Derek. As exciting a ride as I've had for life. He jumped like a gazelle. It was incredible, and did it lovely.
He's some leaper, isn't he?
Unbelievable, incredible. Sue kept telling me he wasn't as good as he was the other day when he won the Murphys, but
he was what?
He's been a great fat bullock the last 2 weeks. We haven't been able to get any weight off him. I can't believe it.
Was he awesome, Brad?
absolutely awesome.
Well done.
Graham Bradley, the grey man. After Sunny Bay, the grey won the Hennessy. Senor El Betrutti here, the 9-1. Sixth choice of the punters, did touch 10-1 on the course and was a 15-2 chance in the offices this morning. The runner-up Challenger to Look sent off at 6-1. The fourth horse to be runner-up both in the Murphys and the Tripleprint, all the others in the 70s. The Snipe, Zongolero and Credo's Daughter, second twice in the big handicap chases here at Cheltenham before Christmas. The third, Bell's Life, a 25-1 complete outsider. For the third, they sent the sixth horse Simply Dashing off, the 2-1 favourite, and that's Senor El Betrutti. The 14th time a Murphys Gold Cup winner in the same year has run in the Tripleprint, only the second to complete the double. Tim Forster's Pegwell Bay did it 8 years ago. Senor El Betrutti, a birthday present for the layers again.
The photo call's going, and I've walked across the photo barrage, which is extremely unpopular amongst my snapping colleagues, but we'll probably survive. They're a good bunch, really. And for Susan Nock, who's here now, many congratulations. You told us before you knew he was fit enough.
Well, he's put on a lot of weight since the last race, so I sent him hunting on Wednesday to try and get some of his gut off. Didn't make a scrap of difference, so I really was slightly despondent, and I spoke to Brad last night and said, you know, don't be too upbeat about this, because he's not as fit and straight, I don't think, as he was, you know, 4 weeks ago. Blow me down, he's proved us wrong again.
But he seems to be getting better and better.
His jumping is getting better and better, and I'm sure in this game the secret is the jumping. He just doesn't lose anything over his fences at all. And that's thanks to Sophie, who schools him at home over poles and round the farm. He's learned to look after himself.
And was it she who took him hunting?
Yes, she took him out with a Heathrop.
But tell us, I mean, if he's taking this improvement all the time and he's feeding at the same time, I mean, you're going to get him even better. You're going to go to Kempton now?
He's in for Kempton, but we hadn't really given it serious thought. Perhaps we'll have to now, but my gut feeling is let's finish now for the season before we start going downhill.
But I mean, seriously, he can go further than this too, as well, can't he? 3 miles. It looks as if he's going to get that.
We ought to try 3 miles next and see what happens. Maybe if we can try 3 first time out on not too tight a course, we'll see what happens.
But so you've got huge reaction from local people here. You're very much a local horse. What happened after the Murphys when you went home?
The place went wild. We had so much so much fun, so much support, so much congratulations from all the locals, all my friends, and people I've never seen or heard of, all wrote, and we've just been floating around for the last few weeks.
Well, they're going to be floating tomorrow, that's for certain.
Well, we're going to come down to us soon, I expect.
Well, finally, I mean, the way he jumps, his whole attitude, I mean, he's made for Aintree fences. Will you start thinking about the national?
We will think about it. I'm not sure that we're brave enough to take them on. And some people say, well, you must go for it because he's a front runner, he can jump himself out of trouble. I'm not certain at this stage. I'd like to think about it, you know, in the spring.
And stay on cloud 9 for a while.
That's right. Yes,
Thanks
enjoy this one again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rough, so right. Cloud 9 and visual evidence there in those pictures you've just seen in the unsaddling enclosure that racing's more than just about money. Money makes the world go around, but for sheer enjoyment of a sport that has so much to offer at its best, and for the not inconsiderable sum for a gelding of £37,000 for his connections.
How about the King George?
Senor El Betrutti has given us a wonderful display.
Like to see him with one man?
Absolutely. They did say earlier they feel he's a better horse left-handed, don't they? He has one right-handed, but... John, let's enjoy the closing stages again, because, I mean, you were purring with delight at his jumping. 4 out we are.
He's always been a remarkably good jumper, this horse, and I was just fascinated to see the shots of him out hunting, where he was looking at everything and sort of struggled to get over it at the rail on the ground. And just begin to run downhill now. Challenger to look coming there, cruising, Simply Dashing. You'll just see the fire begin to go out of him. He was disappointing all round. Gets in close, but still gets away from his fence as well, Senor El Betrutti. And I was in the new Nat West branch in the parade in Cheltenham this morning, and somebody buttonholed me for 15 minutes telling me how good this horse was and how he'd win again this afternoon, so he'll be delighted. But he never, ever, if you backed him, never give you an anxious moment. Stood off there half a stride too soon, but always really confident. And again, got away from the fence well, and just beginning to go for home now. And this old character in behind, he likes to come there travelling a lot easier for a lot longer than he was able to do today. And this horse, once he went for home, you could see him just there really begin to lengthen, actually went somewhere. Very rare to see horses at Cheltenham go a good gallop and actually quicken up again. And forget about the National. I'd be far more thinking of the King George, and then the Gold Cup with this horse. He's improved beyond all recognition. Goes to the last, comes up for Brad again there, and it's all over. And we saw it in the Murphys, gallop right the way to the line. Really excellent performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, the directors of the Steeplechase Company are delighted to welcome Mr. George Ward and his company's bonus print, double print and triple print to Cheltenham this afternoon in support of our most valuable day's racing outside the National Hunt Festival. In particular, we thank them for their continued sponsorship of our feature event, the £60,000 Triple Print Gold Cup, which once again has provided us with a race of the very highest quality. It is now with great pleasure that I ask Mr. Ward to present the Triple Print Gold Cup to the owner of Senor El Betrutti, Mr. Gerard Nock. And the winning trainer, Susan Nock. And the winning jockey, Graham Bradley.
Well, wonderful scenes here at Cheltenham, and a great day for Graham Bradley. He won't mind being on the morning line again, I don't suppose. First, number 3, Senor El Betrutti at 9-1. Second, number 2, Challenger Duluc at 6-1. And third, number 5, Bell's Life, 25-1. Simply Dashing was the 2-1 favourite and finished 6th, 9 ran. Haydock, the 250.
Better than worries about betting here. The feeling all around this unsaddling enclosure is a really warm local glow, because, as we said before, we've had a grey front runner win it, but better than that, we've had something that can only happen in jump racing amongst the major sports. An absolutely amateur-trained horse, amateur-trained contender, come and win a major race. It's a terrific afternoon. It'll be even better after the Beulah, which is after this. Season on Channel 4, but there's been happiness too, because it has been one of those extraordinary days that is as good as you could possibly hope for. Cheltenham, big fences, and the day that the Senor ruled again in the triple print.
Season. It's Senor El Betrutti coming to claim the Tripleprint Gold Cup under Graham Bradley, striding on confidently up towards the line. Challenger to look in second with Bell's Life in third, but Senor El